Hey guys, so for this week's discussion, we were talking about object data, primitive data, and collection data. Starting first with the object data. This is types that are instances within classes of data types. The Python website defines objects as their abstraction for data. All data in Python programs is represented by objects or by relations between objects. Every object has an identity, a type, and a value. Identity determines the operations the object supports. Does it have length? It defines possible values for that type. For example, Boolean is an identity that represents the truth and values of false and true. The objects representing the values are true and false. Boolean is a subtitle of the integer type and almost always have the value of 0 and 1. Wikipedia gives a great example of how it's used for a bookstore who wants to search for the implications for if a customer orders book A, he also orders book B, and is able to determine false or true on those scenarios of the data in the system. Primitive data is the most basic. It's numeric, including integers, float, complex numbers, strings, and booleans. It is used to store data value using variables to save and restore values or the results of calculations. The last one, collection data, is a specialized container data types. Collections are used when built in containers like dictionary, list, set, and tuple are not optimal. Collections include counter, dec, default dict, named tuple, ordered dict, and further reading. Counters is a dictionary-like object designed to keep tallies or to find the most common word or number. This would be used to find the most common location ID on the taxi project. So when we were running to see the top 5 taxi location IDs, this would be useful in that scenario. Dec stands for double-ended queue used for stack or queue. It is list optimized for variable length operations or appending to either end. It'd be used to create a queue of the order you want the objects to be processed. In the coding assignment from last week, giving the average of any given array of numbers, the appending at either end was very useful in that project and that data analysis. Default dict allows you to specify the default type of the value in the sequence of key value pairs. Tracking how many miles you run each day and want to know which days you are most active is an example of how that is used. Named tuple allows you to give names to each position, making the code more readable and self-documented. You can always access the positions by name as well as index. This would be used when grabbing data from a CSV. It lets you provide useful names for positions, for example, username, email, username, and staff. Unlike list, this one allows you to manipulate it and change positionings and values. And that's what I have for this week. Thanks, guys.